Many who find themselves trapped in the cycle of people pleasing. It is not a conscious choice, but rather an unconscious conditioning woven into the fabric of their being from a very young age. This conditioning is the invisible thread that pulls you away from your authentic self, nudging you towards approval, acceptance, and love that feels conditional rather than the truth. Think back to the moments in your life when you first learned to pleasing others, who would bring you safety, comfort, and even survival. Perhaps as a child, you observe how the adults around you responded. Maybe approval came from with compliance, or love seems tied to your ability to keep peace and avoid conflict. These early experiences etch into your nervous system and form a blueprint for how you relate to yourself in the world. You learn without even realizing it that your value was measured by how much you could give, adapt, or sacrifice to meet the needs and expectations of those around you. This blueprint, although once a necessary adaptation, has now become a prison that keep you trapped in the people pleaser mindset. It is an automatic program running beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. It show up in a way you say yes, even when your body screams no. It surfaces when you hide your true feeling, diminish your desire, or you mute your voice to avoid rocking the boat. But the more you give away your power to the external validations, the more disconnected you become from your inner truth. The first step then is to freedom, is to bring this conditioning into full conscious awareness. Awareness is not about blame or judgment. It's about witnessing the patterns with a clear and compassionate eye. When you become the observer of your own behavior, you start to see the story you have told yourself for years. You see how the fear of rejection, abandonment, or disapproval has governed your choice. You begin to realize how deeply intertwined your identity became with other people's opinion, to the point where you lose sight of who you are beneath the mask you wear. This awakening moment is profound because it disrupts the unconscious loop. When you unconsciously recognize that the need to please is not your true self, but a conditioned response, you create a space of possibility. In this space, you are no longer a victim of your past or a slave to the old habits. You become the architect of a new reality, the one where your worth is inherent and not contingent on external approval. Understand that the neuroscience of conditioning can deepen this awareness. Your brain is wired to form habits based on repeated experience. Every time you choose to please others at the expense of your own needs, neural pathways are reinforced, making it easier to fall back into the same pattern. But the remarkable truth is, these pathways are not fixed. Neuroplasticity, the brain ability to change, means that with focused attention and intention, you can create a new pathway that serves your higher self. The key is to recognize the emotional trigger that activate the people pleaser within you. Maybe it is a certain tone, a voice, a look of disappointment, or an inner dialogue of self-doubt. These trigger ignite the old survival mechanism, flight or fight, or freeze response, that help keep you small. By becoming fully present to this moment, you interrupt the automatic response. You invite your brain to process the experience differently, rewiring the emotional charge that once held power over you. These require patience and kindness because the old conditioning is deeply ingrained. It does not unravel overnight, and there will be moments of resistance, fear, and uncertainty. But each time you choose awareness over unconscious reaction, you build strength. You learn to sit with the discomfort without rushing to fix or escape it through people-pleasing behavior. You begin to trust your inner compass, the quiet voice that knows what is best for you, even when it goes against the expectations of others. As this awareness grows, it becomes clear that people-pleasing is not about generosity or kindness. It is a strategy that was born from a scarcity mindset, fear, and separation. True kindness comes from fullness, from a place of abundance within yourself. When you are connected to your own power, your giving becomes a conscious choice rather than a compulsion. You are able to love and support others without losing yourself in the process. The journey of breaking free from people-pleasing starts with recognizing that you have been conditioned to believe that your value depends on others' acceptance. This is a lie that no longer serves you. Awareness shines a light into the darkness corner of this belief, dissolving it. By dissolving it hopes, it invites you to step into a new way of being, one where your power, your voice, your authentic self are not only accepted, but celebrated in this place of awareness. You reclaim your sovereignty. You realize that the power to shape your life lies in you, not in the hands of others, not in the hands of those you once tried so hard to please. The conditioning that kept you small begin to loosen up. It loosens its grips as you rewrite your story. Choosing to stand in your truth with courage and grace, you begin to embody the essence of a powerful queen, a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less than her highest expression. To reclaim your personal power, the first step is to step off the endless treadmill of seeking approval from the outside world and step into the radiant center of your own being. It is a radical act of self-love and courage, a deliberate choice to no longer surrender your energy to other expectation, fear, or judgment. When you begin this journey, you realize that the power you have been searching for has not been missing. It has been buried underneath layers of conditioning, doubt, and old story that no longer serve you. The process begins by shifting your source of validation from external to internal. This is not a small feat because many of us have spent decades building our sense of self based on the fragile foundations of others' opinion. The applause, the recognitions, the acceptance, this became the currency of our self-worth. The moment you make your own approval, the ultimate measure, you break free from a cycle that never truly satisfies. The power to say, I am enough, transform everything. Reclaiming your personal power means embracing responsibility for your emotional state. It means no longer outsourcing your happiness, your peace, or your confidence to others' reaction. When you depend on someone else's approval to feel worthy, you give away your control, your power. These create an unstable foundation, like building a castle on a shifting sand. But when you cultivate the ability to regulate your own emotions, to anchor yourself in your own value, you build a fortress that cannot be shaken. This inner regulation is not about suppressing feeling or pretending everything is fine. It is about developing emotional intelligence, the skill to observe your emotions, understand their origins, and consciously choose your response. You become the master of your inner landscape rather than a victim of external circumstances. Part of reclaiming your power is also learning to set boundaries with compassion and clarity. For too long, the people pleaser believed that saying no will lead to rejection, abandonment, or conflict. But the truth is that boundaries are an act of self-respect and self-love. They communicate to others that your needs and feelings matter just as much as theirs. When you honor your limit, you create a space where authentic relationship can flourish. Relationship based on mutual respect rather than obligations. The fear of loneliness, fear of disappointment, fear of being seen as selfish. Yet these fears are the very chain that keep you small each time you lean into the discomfort and choose your truth over the desire to please. You weaken the change. The more you practice, these will get easier. The more you practice, these get easier. And you become to stand firm in your power without feeling the guilt or apology. Reclaiming your personal power also involves rewiring the narrative you tell yourself about who you are and what you deserve. Often, the people pleaser carries story like I am only lovable if I am helpful, or my needs are less important, or I must sacrifice to be accepted. These stories shape your identity and keep you locked in roles that limit your freedom. But stories are not facts. They are just belief that can be changed with intentions and repetition. You can install a new narrative where your worth is inherent. Your voice is vital, and your presence commands respect. These transformations happen on both conscious and subconscious level. The subconscious mind, where your deepest beliefs reside, must be retrained through consistent practice, visualizations, and emotional experience that affirm your power. You must embody the feelings of being powerful, sovereign woman, so fully that your energy shifts. Your life will not change until your energy shifts. Your body, mind, spirit begin to resonate with this new identity. When you shift your energy and when you reclaim your power, knowing that you're worthy, your needs are worthy. Reclaiming your personal power is about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your attention. People pleasing often means overcommitting, saying yes to things that drain you, neglecting your own passions and desire. When you reclaim your power, you start to choose what truly serves your growth and joy. You invest in yourself as the most important relationship in your life. You prioritize your well-being because you know that only from this place of fullness can you show up authentically and generously for others. This shift impacts every area of your life. In your relationship, you attract people who respect your boundary and value your presence in your career or creative pursuit. You find the courage to persuade what light you up rather than what other expect of you. Your voice grows stronger, your confidence deepens, and your presence becomes magnetic. You no longer shrink to fit into the expectations of the world. Instead, you expand to fill the space that is yours. It is important to recognize that reclaiming personal power is a continuous journey, not a one-time event. It requires daily choices, small acts of courage, and ongoing self-awareness. There will be moments when old fear resurfaces, when the temptation to please creep back in. But each time you choose power over fear, you build resilience, you prove to yourself that you're capable of standing in your truth no matter what. The energy of a powerful queen is one that is steady, grounded, and unwavering. It is not about domination or control, but about presence, self-respect, and clarity. This power flow from the deep knowing that you are whole, complete, and deserving exactly as you are. You become a beacon of strength and grace, inspiring others to step into their own power as well. This reclamation liberate you from the exhausting cycle of trying to earn love and approval. Instead, you create from a place of abundance, self-love abundance, confidence, and abundance freedom. You become the author of your life, the life story you write with intention, courage, and unwavering faith in your own worth, breaking free from the chains of people-pleasing. People-pleasing require a deep and courageous examination of the emotional patterns that have shaped your inner world. Those patterns often form in a very early life and have become automatic response that govern your feelings and behavior without conscious choice. They create an emotional loop, a cycle that keep you reacting in ways that diminish your power and discomfort and disconnect you. And from your authentic self to truly transform, you must first understand this emotional pattern and then intentionally rewrite them. Emotional patterns are not random. They are the mind and the body way of protecting you from pain, rejections, and fear when you were young. When you were younger, your nervous system learned to respond to certain trigger with specific emotions to keep you safe. Perhaps anger was suppressed to avoid a conflict. Sadness was hidden to prevent vulnerability, or anxiety was mastered by a smile to keep the peace. This emotional survival strategy, though once necessary, have become limiting habits that no longer serve you, that no longer serve your growth or freedom. The people-pleasing pattern often stem from an unconscious belief that your value is tied to others' happiness. When you notice discomfort or disapproval in others, your emotional system kicks in, overdrive, a flood of anxiety, guilt, or shame urge you to fix the situation, to smooth things over, to bend until you disappear. These emotions become a signal that tell you to act, to please, and to prioritize their needs above your own needs. Over time, these rewire your brain to associate your worth with your ability to manage other people's feelings, creating a cycle that creates impossible to break. The first step then is breaking this emotional pattern is developing the ability to witness your emotions without judgment. Instead of being swept away by feeling of guilt or fear, you learn to observe them as messages from your nervous system. This practice of emotional awareness creates distance between you and your automatic reaction. You begin to see that these feelings, while powerful, do not define you. They are just temporary state that can be acknowledged and felt. And release this witnessing is transformative because it interrupts the unconscious loop. When you pause to observe your emotional response, you create a space for choice. Instead of reacting out of habit, you can respond with intention. This is where the power to change resides, in the moment between the stimuli and the response. That space, although really small, but become a portal to freedom. As you deepen the awareness, you start to identify the specific trigger that activate your people-pleasing pattern. Maybe it is a certain tone of voice, a look of disappointment, or a fear of conflict. This trigger light up old emotional wounds that have been stored in your body, often without your conscious memory. You realize that the discomfort you felt is not about the present moment alone, but it's layers with past experience and fear. Once you recognize this trigger and the emotional charge behind them, you can begin the work of rewiring. This involves conscious choosing to feel and express your emotions in new way. Instead of suppressing discomfort or masking your needs, you allow yourself to experience vulnerability. You practice expressing your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. This rewiring is not easy. It requires courage to sit with discomfort without rushing to soothe or escape. Neuroscience teaches us that repeated emotional experience create and strengthen neural pathway. When you consistently choose new way of feeling and responding, you form a new pathway that gradually replaces the old one. This is the essence of breaking emotional pattern, rewiring your brain and nervous system to support your authentic power rather than your conditioned fear. This process also involves cultivating emotional resilience as you face all fear and discomfort. You build strength. You learn that you can tolerate uncertainty, conflict, and even rejection without losing your sense of self. This resilience is a muscle that grows stronger with practice, enabling you to hold your ground without shrinking. Breaking emotional pattern require patience and compassion. The old habits are deeply ingrained and will not vanish overnight. There will be setbacks and moments when the familiar feeling of guilt, anxiety resurface. These are not failure, but opportunities to deepen your awareness and reinforce your new response. Each time you choose present over reactivity, you reclaim a piece of your power. Another essential aspect of breaking emotional pattern is learning to nurture yourself emotionally. People pleasing often means neglecting your own feeling in favor of others to heal. You must become your own compassionate witness and caregiver. This means validating your emotions, honoring your needs, and practice self-care as a form of emotional nourishment. As you nurture yourself, the need to seek external validations diminish. You begin to understand that your emotional well-being is not depending on other approval, but on your relationship with yourself. This shift is profound. It moves you from a reactive state of a survival to create a state of empowerment. Breaking, breaking this pattern also free you to experience deeper and more authentic connections with others. When you're no longer driven by the needs to please your relationship, become based on truth rather than obligations. You attract people who appreciate you for who you are, not what you do. For them, this authenticity creates a foundation for love and respect that is unshakable. The journey of breaking emotional pattern is a journey back to yourself. This invites you to reclaim the feeling, desire, and expressions that have been suppressed over the year. It calls you to stand in your vulnerability with courage, knowing that true power is born from embracing all part of yourself, the light and the shadow. To embrace authenticity is to shake the mask and layers you have worn for years, for so long. The one designed to protect you, but that ultimately obscure the radiant truth of who you are. Authenticity is the courageous act of standing in your own truth, unapologetic and fully present, even when the world around you resists and misunderstands you. It is not simple, but being honest with others, but more importantly, about being honest with yourself, about your desire, your boundary, your fear, and your unique voice. Many have lived as people pleaser, have learned to suppress their true self in exchange for acceptance. The authentic voice become a whisper beneath the clamor of external demands and expectation. The soul's deepest longing are mute by the need to conform, to fit a role, to maintain peace. But these silence come at a great cost. The loss of connections to your own power and the profound fulfillment that arise from living aligned with your core essence. Embrace authenticity requires the willingness to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not weak. It is the gateway to genuinely connections and personal freedom. It takes immense bravery to reveal your true self, especially when you have been conditioned to fear of judgment, rejections, or abandonment. Yet in this willingness to be seen as who you are, you discover a wellspring of strength and liberation. You find that your worth is not diminished by your imperfections or your honesty, but rather magnified. This process begins with self-awareness, the ongoing practice of tuning into your inner world. You start to recognize the way in which you have adapted, hidden to gain approval. You notice the time you have silenced your opinion, smooth over your discomfort. You dim your light to avoid conflict or disapproval. Awareness reveals this pattern without judgment, creating space for transformation. As you cultivate this awareness, you begin to explore what it truly means to be yourself. This exploration involves reconnections, your passions, your value, and intuition. Those deep inner guides that have always been there, but have been ignored or overridden. You start to ask yourself honest questions. What do I really want? What feels true in my heart? What boundaries do I need to honor? Those questions lead you inward towards a place of clarity and alignment. Living authenticity also means accepting all part of yourself, the light, the shadow, the strength, the vulnerabilities. It is easy to want to present only your best self, but true authenticity embraces the full spectrum of humanity. You recognize that your imperfections do not make you less worthy. They make you real. This acceptance fosters self-compassion, which is essential for maintaining authenticity in the face of challenges and external pressure. Embracing authenticity requires the courage to set boundaries that honor your truth. Saying no becomes an act of self-respect rather than selfishness. You no longer feel compelled to explain or justify your choice to others. Instead, you stand firmly in your decision, knowing that your peace and integrity are paramount. These boundaries create a container for your authenticity to thrive. As you embody authenticity, you begin to notice shift in your relationship. You attract people who appreciate and respect you, the real you, who value your honesty and presence. The energy of authenticity is very magnetic, very attractive. It draws in connection based on mutual respect and genuine understanding. Relationship deepens and you experience a new level of intimacy and trust that was previously impossible when living through mass. This transformation is not without discomfort. Embracing authenticity often challenges old belief and fear. You may face resistance from within and outside world. The internal voice that questions your worth, the external voice that pushes you to conform. Each time you choose to show up authentically, you weaken the grip of the fear. You build resilience and confidence in your ability to be yourself, no matter the circumstances. The practice of authenticity is also a commitment to ongoing growth. It is not a fixed destination, but a dynamic dance with life complexity. As you evolve, your understanding of yourself deepens and your authenticity expands. You become more attuned to your inner guidance, more capable of expressing your truth in a powerful way. Embracing authenticity reconnect you to your creative power. When you're true to yourself, your actions are fueled by passion and purpose rather than obligations and fear. You become the creator of your reality, shaping your life with intentions and integrity. This alignment between who you are and what you do infuse your life with meaning and joy. Ultimately, authenticity is a declaration of sovereignty. It is the reclaiming of your right to live fully as the woman you were born to be. These declarations shake the very foundations of old conditioning and open the door to new way of being, one where your power flow naturally from the truth. Your presence commands respect and admiration. The journey from being a people pleaser to becoming a powerful queen is inseparable from the profound cultivation of self-love and confidence. These two qualities are not superficial. They are deep-rooted force that arise from an intimate and compassionate relationship with yourself. They are the foundations upon which your power stands firm and wellspring from which all your authentic actions flow. Self-love is often misunderstood as vanity, or in truth, it is a radical acceptance of your whole being. Every strength, every flaw, every story has brought you to this very moment. It is the unwavering commitment to honor your needs, nurture your spirit, and treat yourself with the same kindness and respect. You so freely give to others without self-love. Confidence can become brittle, easily shattered by external circumstances or criticism. But when confidence is built on self-love, it is unshakable, rooted in the certainty of your inherent worth. Cultivating self-love begins with present, the conscious choice to be fully with yourself, especially in the moment of doubt, pain, or insecurity. It means leaning into discomfort rather than turning away. Listen deeply to your inner dialogue and challenge the harsh judgment you have. Many people pleasers carry an internal critic that echoes the voice of past rejection or neglect, whispering that they're not enough. Self-love is the act of silencing this critic with compassion and truth. This compassionate presence creates a fertile growth for transformation. As you meet yourself with kindness, you dissolve the layer of shame and unworthiness that you have accumulated over the time. You start to recognize that you are not your mistake. Your fear, your past, you are a complex, evolving human being, deserving of love simply because you exist. This shift in perception is profound and liberating. Confidence in its truest form is the embodiment of this self-love. It is the quiet knowing that you have everything within you to navigate these life challenges with grace and strength. Confidence is not about needing to prove yourself to others. It is about trusting your intuition, standing firm in your value, and expressing your truth without hesitation. It is the energy that radiates from a woman who knows her worth and refuses to settle for less. Building this confidence requires intentional practice. It is cultivated through daily acts of courage, speaking your truth, setting boundaries, persuading your passion, and embracing your uniqueness. Each time you choose authenticity over approval, you reinforce your confidence. Each moment you stand in your power, you build a momentum that carry forward your self-love and confidence. Also demand that you nourish your body, mind, and spirit. This holistic care is a declaration that you matter. It means prioritizing rest when you're tired, fueling yourself with nourishing food, engaging in movement that feel joyful, and carving out time for practice that uplift your soul. When you care for yourself in this way, you send a powerful message that you're worthy of love. You're worthy of your own love and attention. The relationship between self-love, confidence, and boundary is intimate and vital. Boundaries are the protective wall that keep your energy scarce and safe. They arise naturally when you deeply love yourself and recognize that your time and emotional capacity are precious. Establishing clear boundaries is a confident act because it requires clarity about what you will and will not tolerate. It communicates with the world that what you value yourself enough to say no to what diminishes you. These cultivations also involve forgiving yourself for past pattern of people-pleasing. Guilt and regret can weigh heavily, but self-love is the bridge to healing. When you forgive yourself, you release the grip of old stories that have kept you small. You acknowledge that those patterns were survival mechanism, not failure. This forgiveness frees you to step into your power without the burden of self-judgment. As you deepen self-love and confidence, you notice a transformation in your inner dialogue. The voice that once doubt and fear is replaced by a voice of encouragement and trust. You become your own greatest ally, celebrating your victory and supporting yourself through setbacks. This inner alliance is crucial because it sustains you through the inevitable challenges for growth. The energy of self-love and confidence is magnetic. It attracts people, opportunities, and experience that align with your highest good. In your relationship, you shift as you draw in those who honor and respect you. Your presence commands attention, not because you demand it, because you embody a quiet power that cannot be ignored. This cultivation is not about perfection. It is about wholeheartedness. It invites you to show up fully as you embracing your humanity with all its complexity. It encourages you to celebrate your progress, not to be gentle, not just to be gentle with yourself, but also loving yourself as you go through this. Especially when you stumble, this balance of grace and determination fuel your ongoing journey towards becoming the powerful queen you're designed to be. The transformation from a people pleaser to a powerful queen is not a sudden event, but a continuously unfolding, a sacred journey inward that requires courage, patience, and unwavering commitment to yourself. It is the brave choice to break free from the conditional pattern, to reclaim your emotional sovereignty, and to step fully into your authenticity. Along this path, you learn that true power is born not from controlling others or seeking approval, but from honoring your own truth and embracing your inherent worth. Cultivating self-love and confidence become the foundations on which your present rests, enabling you to stand tall amidst the life storm with grace and resilience. As you awaken to your authentic self, you magnetize respect, deep connections, and opportunities that reflect your highest potential. Remember, this journey is your sacred right, a journey that calls you to rise, to shine, and to reclaim your role as the powerful queen you were always meant to be.